Welcome to Good Dates Gone Bad. I'm your host, Lee, and this is my guest,
Kiki.
Thanks for joining us. She's going to share one of her stories, and then we're going to read a story from the book. So, Kiki, tell me about your good date gone bad. First of all, what is a good day to you?
A nice, comfortable evening, good conversation, good food, good wine.
Okay.
An enjoyable time had by all.
Good memories.
Yes, exactly.
Good taste in your mouth when you leave.
Yes.
All right. What about a bad day? What would be a bad day to you? Everything else?
Everything else.
Okay.
Ones that leave bad taste in your mouth.
Right. That can happen too with asparagus, but that's for another story. All right. So tell me your good day gone bad.
Well, it actually started the night before the date. I had come back in town to visit some friends and was at a friend's house and met someone who seemed very nice, and we hung out and had fun, drank a little bit too much, and I ended up probably leaving around 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh, okay. After the shenanigans.
So the next morning around 9 o'clock, I get a call from a friend of mine. We'll call her Shenanigans.
Okay. Yes, that's
Shenanigans lost.
that's actually perfect. Yeah.
Shenanigans lost her keys, and I had to come over to the house to help her find her keys. That took about 20 minutes, and that the guy that I was hanging out with the night before was standing there the whole time we're looking for the keys. So we found the keys in the sofa and went home and went about our day, and we actually...
Did he hug you or had a good time? Nothing?
He just kind of
pat you on the back.
And he just kind of stood there sort of like glaring a little bit because I just left. I was like, okay, thanks, bye-bye.
Oh my God. There was no kiss, no I had a good time, none of that?
That happened before I left, but when I came back, it was because I was like, okay, bye. And I was alone. So coming back was a little bit...
That made it awkward.
Very awkward.
Okay.
So we find the keys and I leave and go home and do whatever I'm doing. And I'm getting ready to go on the actual date that I came in town to go on.
Double day weekend.
Yes. And well, the first one was an unexpected meeting.
Yes.
So we get to Cafe Intermezzo.
Love Cafe Intermezzo.
So that with the actual date that I came in town to go on a date with, and a friend of mine shows up with the guy that I had met the night.
Oh my God. Did you ever say anything to her?
I did. And it was a very interesting conversation.
Oh my God. Did she end up fooling around with him?
No. Her boyfriend was friends with him.
Okay.
Yeah, her boyfriend didn't come with her. It's just the two of them because he had apparently said to her, oh, where is Kiki going tonight?
Yes.
Oh, Kiki's going to Cafe Intermezzo. And he said, plans. He was like, well, let's go up.
Let's go there. So did he ever try to call you? Did he ever get your phone number?
To give him my phone number.
So he had no way to reach you.
I didn't want him to.
Well, how crazy that he ended up showing up where you were on a date. So what happened on the end of your date? That was the awkward part.
Well,
did you even like the guy you went on a date with?
I did.
So how did that date go?
That date was fine. But what was the awkward part was the person from the night before kept making comments about things like, oh, so when did you get in town?
Well, how close in proximity were y'all sitting?
They sat at the table with us.
What?
Yes. She pulled up
because she was like, that's my friend.
Yes.
I just sat by y'all. And you're like, oh my God.
And so
I just hooked up with that guy. Your date last night. Oh my God.
So I'm sitting there with the person I like on dates, my friend, and the person that I hooked up with.
Super awkward.
It was incredible.
Were you shooting drinks?
I really did start ordering shots. Because it was just I'm just sitting there, and the only thing
yes.
Okay, I don't want the guy that I'm on the date with tonight to know what happened last night.
Let's hope the other guy doesn't say anything, but he couldn't say anything because he was on a date too with your friend.
He wasn't on a date with my friend. He just came with my friend.
Okay.
So he wasn't on the date.
She had a boyfriend.
She had a boyfriend, but the boyfriend was doing something. She said, mezzo, and he said, let's go up and saw her.
Okay, I was misunderstood. Pardon me, I was thinking that she went out with the dude the night, or met a guy the night before, and then her friend went on a date with that guy. Okay.
No.
Oh, so even if he did say anything, it wouldn't have mattered to your girlfriend.
No,
but it wouldn't have mattered to the date.
Yeah, my date, yes.
Yes, your date.
And he just kept making very awkward comments like, you got in town last night. What'd y'all do?
And did you?
Pretty much. And then it was like, oh, well, I heard your friend lost her keys this morning. It was, and my friend kind of looking at me like, how does he know?
How does he know all
that
this?
Shenanigans lost her keys this morning? It was incredibly.
Big shenanigans.
It's always shenanigans involved. But it was incredibly awkward.
Oh, God, I'm sure. Well, how did your actual date end? Was it worth it going into town?
It was.
We're going through all of this shenanigans.
Going through all these shenanigans. And he was actually super sweet. Never really ended up dating because he kind of asked me about, it's like when we were leaving, we were in his car and he's like, so what was that all about? And I was like, well,
oh my God, did we tell him?
Not the extent. I just kind of
I met that guy last night.
I met him last night at a party, and we started.
Obviously, he likes me. You put the plate up with him. Obviously, he likes me.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, and we started talking, and I guess he thought there was more of a connection than I thought there was, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, awkward.
Yes, and then we went to a party, and one of my friends was there. And I told her what happened. And of course, she's just laughing the entire time at my date and at me because she totally knows that, it was
that's fine. I would think that would be so embarrassing, way beyond well, at least he didn't go into detail. Thank God he didn't say anything, but I would be embarrassed and definitely be embarrassed.
Oh, mortified. I mean, completely
like the flies don't say anything. Well, she's going to read from volume 2. Okay? She's going to read a story. No, she didn't wear her glasses.
So I said stutter.
That's right. But it's called In Another World. And this is actually one of my deal breaker dating stories. Yes, I said it out loud. In Another World. So it's number 32 in volume 2. Okay? For any of those that are bought the books, volume 1 was first published in 2012, and this one was published in 2018. So the purpose of the stories is to be like the equivalent of volume 3. So anyway, y'all enjoy. It's a funny story, and this is one of my dates.
In Another World, a woman's story. A successful young woman was out on the town one Saturday evening when she met him. His dashing smile charmed her, leading into a long night of drinks and interesting conversation. He was a marketing director for a local well-known firm, impressing her with his dialogue of weekday events. She eagerly listened, trying to absorb his every word. But the wine was beginning to get to her. They elected to call it a night. After exchanging phone numbers, email, etc., he leaned over and gently kissed her on the cheek. She held her hand to the cheek the whole way home.
So let me just say, he was very handsome. He was well-known kind of in the circuit, and a very, very cool guy. Had everything together.
Yeah.
Well put together. Like, he was very dateable. So I was excited. I was.
Several days later, he called her and invited her out for dinner at a hidden gem of a farm-to-table restaurant in Decatur. He agreed to meet her there. As they lived across town from one another, she made sure her hair, makeup, outfit, and attitude were all in the proper order prior to leaving her company.
Mm-hmm.
She hoped that this guy may just occupy her attention, Certainly more than the last boyfriend she entertained.
Sure.
He arrived early, waiting for her at the bustling bar just inside the restaurant with a glass of red wine, ready for her to enjoy. Nice.
I thought that was pretty classy.
Yeah, very classy. She smiled just at the sight of him. His slightly overgrown dark hair, green eyes, heavy dark eyebrows, and long and slender body. She began to blush. He greeted her with another kiss on the cheek, and they sat down.
I thought that was so sweet.
And very, very nice.
Yeah, very much that of a gentleman, just very nice, not presumptuous, just nice.
Considerate.
It's very considerate, yes.
She appreciated his chivalry and gently showed him by touching his shoulder. They talked about this and that, making light conversation. Within 15 minutes, the hostess approached him. "Excuse me, Mark, your table for two is ready." He had the bar tab transferred to their table and followed the hostess with finesse. She thought, he must be a regular here. The table was set beautifully, a little candlelight and everything very romantic. He encouraged, "Order whatever you want. I'm not very hungry."
This part is when I remember when that happened, he was like, "I'm not very hungry." Why would you go eat dinner if you're not very hungry?
And have a cocktail.
And who wants to eat by themselves? I mean, I was actually pretty damn hungry.
Well, yeah, and you want to eat.
And I was a lot skinnier then, and I was still really, at dinner time, I ate. I always ate. If I went to dinner with a guy, I ate. Now, I might not eat like some buffet, but I would eat, food.
Nice.
I wasn't a picker. I ate.
You should.
So I was a little awkward by then.
"So I'm just going to nibble." She didn't think much of it at the time, so she decided on flank steak and asparagus. Her wine was refilled almost instantly, which pleased her.
That was good.
He continued to talk about his work, offering instances and circumstances, situations of happenings. He enjoyed talking, it seemed.
He was doing a lot of this.
Did he ask any questions?
I was doing a lot of this.
Oh, that's a good thing to be doing. After her food arrived, all she could do was listen. She was starving by then, so she let him go on entertaining himself.
See, we didn't have an appetizer, so we were drinking. I don't even think he was drinking. I think he might have had a glass of wine, but he really wasn't drinking much or doing much. Anyway.
Yeah. Is he going to eat anything at all, she thought, almost embarrassed to dine alone with him at the table, as if she were some piggy. Oink, she said under her breath as she stuffed another piece of steak in her mouth.
I had no shame. I was hungry. I was like, if you don't want to eat, I'm going to enjoy this bite of steak. I love it.
Yeah, I had to eat it.
Totally.
Following the tasty bite with another big sip of red wine, all of a sudden she looked at him, and he seemed to be looking at her funny. She quickly moved her eyes away from his, believing it must be her imagination or the wine buzz she was getting. But no, it wasn't her imagination. His eyes were crossing back and forth and back, in and out, and danced while he continued jabbering on like some talk show host.
So now, have you ever hung out with someone at a nightclub and all of a sudden their eyes are dancing?
Yeah.
They're kind of crossing a little bit and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And they're really messed up on some ecstasy or something.
All the time.
Something kicked in, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to have a good time in their body.
Yeah.
But the people on the other side have to watch this cross-eyed thing, okay? So that's what happens.
You think he's having a stroke.
Oh, no, I knew he wasn't having a stroke because he was talking, he was really chill. But I knew, I'm like, okay, this guy is high.
Yeah. "Are you okay?" Slurring through his teeth, he convinced her. "Oh, yeah, I feel great," he shouted. She tried motioning for the server.
The sober girl,
Yeah.
server.
Who seemed to be absent most of the evening, to refill his water, but he hardly touched his on the table. Then, after several attempts of begging him to drink his water, he finally pushed the water away. "I don't want any water, thank you."
He does like my cat. I not.
No. Mortified, she excused herself from the table and rushed to the ladies.
But it was so much, though, because if you're it's one thing if you're there on a date and it's like nobody's drinking or one person's drinking and drunk and the other person's not drinking. Okay, that was like the equivalent. We were both supposed to be hanging out together. Like both be on the same level, the same level playing field.
Yeah.
Like try to have a conversation so you can relate. I felt like I could not relate to him at all. I was very disappointed.
He's totally on a different.
You can imagine how disappointing it would be to be out with the guy, like you said, the it guy. Okay, you're out with this it guy that's letting you down. I mean, on every level. I'm not kissing him. I don't get to experience
your expectation just got shot.
I don't get to experience him in any way. There's no experiencing him except the drug that he's taking. I'm experiencing his. I see the other side of that. That was a huge
letdown.
That was a major letdown. It was very disappointing. And I never went out with him again. And he called many times.
Oh, I bet. Mortified, she excused herself from the table and rushed into the ladies' room. Unsure of what to do next, she tried gathering herself before leaving, feeling grateful for driving separately that night. Hell,
Yeah, and that was before everybody Ubered. I mean, people would take a taxi or, you get dropped off by a friend. And that was a long time ago. This is...
Always drive yourself. That way you can leave.
Mm-hmm.
She decided not to leave without saying goodbye. Very nice of you.
Well, I did... I almost wanted to have like a second shot at the date, but I just really didn't think I'd ever forget all that, because I thought that was incredibly inconsiderate for somebody to party like that, especially not even asking me if I wanted to, because I used to
party himself.
I used to party too, so why not you're the married? Why not, hey, he wants let's have a little fun. But no, I didn't even get invited.
No, that's not fun.
No.
She decided not to leave without saying goodbye, so she approached him at the table. By now, he'd stopped talking and sat there at the table with his arms crossed, eyes open, and body swaying slightly.
He's feeling good.
He's in another world, she realized.
Totally.
She asked him if he was drunk, and he said no. She asked him if he had taken any drugs, and he just smiled. He's high, she assumed, which only pissed her off. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. One, for doing it on a date with her, and two, for doing it without her, which is completely legit.
That is mad.
Yeah.
That's the key. So guys, if anybody's watching this, girls, you don't, especially if you're single, if you're going to bother partying, and please don't do it without the date. At least, share it, because it could actually enhance the date. I mean, it could be fun. Obviously, if you're a partier, you know better than that. This is a foolish move on his part. I mean, we could have had
fun if you were both.
Yeah, we will. But we could be cross-eyed together.
Those swinging with your eyes
and not eating together.
Yeah. He's high, she assumed, which only pissed her off. I'm reading this again because it's great. One, for doing it on the date with her, and two, for doing it without her. Key. She thanked him for dinner and left. After getting home safely, she sent him a text to kindly leave her phone number, email, etc. Realizing she would never consent to another date with this weirdo.
You couldn't, because you couldn't trust him again.
No.
I mean, as much as I thought he was handsome, I didn't know him like that. And then I got to know him, like his... I mean, could you imagine that any future relationships that guy ever had?
No. I mean, and that wasn't the first time he did that. No, the last time he did that. So his dates had to have been like this. Like he's going out there and just...
I mean, we have all heard, and we know friends, they smoke a little weed or do something, maybe drink some alcohol before they go on a date, right? And be comfortable. That's right. But you're not trying to be out of your mind, or you can't even talk to them. That's embarrassing. That was, I would, if I were him and the next day realizing what I just did on a date, if he even liked me, I would have been mortified of my behavior.
I can't believe he called you.
Oh, he called many times.
I mean, and there was no...
And then I saw him out.
With him.
I saw him out too. I saw him out. So, as a matter of fact, he came in, well, that's another story. I won't tell you. But I did see him again, like 15 years later. Wasn't that long ago. That's all.
Swaying back and forth.
He wasn't swaying then, but he was married. Yep.
So he went sober on at least one date that we know of.
Yeah, maybe.
Or he gave her
that, or she's look at those pockets. Where's y'all shit?
Yeah, and sad.
Well, anyway, thanks, Kiki, for being a guest on my show. Thank you for sharing a story of your own and one from the book. And stay tuned for more Good Dates Gone Bad. Okay?
Thanks.
Be sure to like and subscribe, okay? And share it. Share it with friends. All right. Bye.
Bye.